China is all set to host its biggest military parade to showcase what a world would look like where Beijing rules. Let's get you more details on that. Now, President Xi Jinping will host the country's largest military parade, aiming to recast Beijing as a key custodian of a post-US-led world order amid geopolitical shifts taking place. Now, more than 20 world leaders, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and Korea's Kim Jong Un, will attend the September 3rd Victory Day parade, marking 80 years since Japan's defeat in World War II. Now, viewers, this parade will showcase China's military might and diplomatic influence, featuring cutting-edge weapons such as hypersonic missiles as well as drones. In fact, analysts say that the image of Xi flanked by Putin and Kim may define the event as an axis of upheaval challenging the West. In fact, for Kim Jong Un, who arrived in Beijing by his armored train, this is his first major multilateral appearance and the first time a North Korean leader has attended a Chinese military parade in about 66 years. And the guest list here does underscore China's role as the world's leading authoritarian power. Now, Western presence at this event is limited, with only Slovak Prime Minister and Serbian President, both critical of sanctions on Russia over the war in Ukraine. They are the only two leaders from the Western Bloc who are attending this event. In fact, the parade also highlights China's growing influence in Central, West and Southeast Asia, with more regional leaders also attending compared to the last parade that was held in 2015. Now, remember earlier this week, Xi used a regional forum in Tianjin to rally developing nations for a more equal multipolar world, promoting what he called the correct historical perspective on World War II. In fact, experts describe the parade as part of a memory war in which China and Russia challenged the Western narrative of the World War II, highlighting their role in defeating the fascist forces back then. In fact, Xi frames the war as a turning point in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. So this is how China is projecting the narrative on World War II, and this event specifically, the military parade, will help China in boosting that narrative on the global stage. This will be country's largest military parade. It will recast Beijing as a key custodian of a post-US-led world order amid the geopolitical shifts that are taking place. Remember, this comes just after the SCO summit, in which China also had a very similar goal to project what the world could look like, in which China is the one who plays a crucial role in a multipolar world order. And now this event, in fact. Now, when we talk about the guest list, more than 20 world leaders are attending this event, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and also North Korea's Kim Jong Un.
I know.
A show of solidarity by three countries shunned by the West over their roles in the Ukraine war. China's President Xi Jinping gathered his Russian and North Korean counterparts in Beijing for the first time on Tuesday. Russian President Vladimir Putin was hosted in the Great Hall of the People for a bilateral where he called the Chinese leader his dear friend. The pair then met at Xi's personal residence over tea. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un's armoured train was spotted arriving in the Chinese capital before his motorcade rolled through the streets. The three are set to appear together at a massive military parade on Wednesday, where the Chinese president will flaunt his vision for a new global order as US President Donald Trump's America First policies strain Western alliances. For Kim, the parade will mark the largest multilateral diplomatic event he has attended. It offers the reclusive leader an opportunity to gain support for his banned nuclear weapons and expand his diplomatic circle. Analysts are watching whether the trio may also signal closer defense relations. Russia and North Korea signed a pact in June 2024, and a similar alliance is agreed between Beijing and Pyongyang. Any concrete agreement could alter the military calculus in the Asia-Pacific region. It would also be a blow for Trump, who has talked up his close relations with the trio and touted his peacemaking credentials as Russia's 3.5-year war with Ukraine has raged on. Xi also held talks on Monday with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose country has been targeted by US tariffs over its purchases of Russian oil. Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called the summit performative, accusing China and India, the biggest buyers of Russian crude, of being bad actors and fueling Russia's war.
So China is all set to host the country's largest military parade. Now this parade will recast China as a key custodian of a post-US-led world order amidst the geopolitical shifts that you're witnessing around the world. Remember, this comes just after the SCO summit where China tried to project its leadership role in a world that's changing, in a world order that's now moving from unipolar to multipolar, in fact. Now, when we talk about the guest list at this grand event, more than 20 world leaders are expected to join China's President Xi Jinping, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong Un. All three will be attending and will put forward a united front in what experts call an axis of upheaval. In fact, they will be attending the September 3rd Victory Day parade. Remember, this marks 80 years since Japan's defeat in the World War II. In fact, this parade will also showcase China's military might and diplomatic influence. It will feature cutting-edge weapons such as hypersonic missiles, drones, tanks, fighter jets as well. Now, according to analysts, this very image of Xi flanked by Putin and Kim may define an event as an axis of upheaval that could, of course, challenge the West and the existing world order. Now, for Kim Jong Un, who arrived in Beijing by his armored train, this is his first major multilateral appearance and also the first time that a North Korean leader is attending a Chinese military parade in about 6 decades. Remember, the guest list does underscore China's role as the world's leading authoritarian power. Western presence is limited, of course, with only 2 leaders from the Western Bloc attending this parade, including Slovakia's Prime Minister and also Serbian President. Remember, both the leaders here are critical of sanctions that have been imposed on Russia over the war in Ukraine. In fact, this parade will also highlight China's growing influence in several other regions, including Central, West and Southeast Asia.